εγώ είμαι Θεός, ο πριν γενέσω το παν, και πρωτοστήνε την γη και των ουρανών, κοινώς κοντά πάντα, ως όρος πατρί και όρθερον ενήμη.
Δόξα σοι ο Θεός ημών, δόξα σοι, λόγος συνέστησαν των ουρανών αματική, συνείδηνα το Πατρί και διαλόγου φέρω το όδετο παν, ο λόγος σοφία και δύναμης και οίκων και συνεργός και ισουργός.
Δόξα σοι ο Θεός ημών, δόξα σοι, εις όρους έπετων, εις ο αιώνας.
Greetings, Uncle Travelling Matt here, and another report from my trip to Cyprus. And today is a very special day, and so rather than saying greetings, what I should have said is Christos Anesti, to which you should reply Alithos Anesti, or as the locals around here seem to say, Alithos Anesti Kyrios. So what does that mean? Well, what it means really is it's Easter Sunday, and Christos Anesti is the Greek form of the greeting Christ is risen, and the reply is he is risen indeed, or the addition of Kyrie I think is like the Lord is risen indeed. So there we are. Okay, Easter is a big deal around here. As you know, we went to the service last night. I didn't stay to the end. I stayed till 1 o'clock in the morning, and after that, I'd had enough. Alex, warrior that he is, did stay to the end, and so therefore got even less sleep than I did, although he was rewarded with a little cake. Apparently the priest gave those out rather than the more traditional bread. And being an Easter Sunday, then we have been religious today, or at least we were at the beginning. So what we did is we set aside this day for seeing the sights around Larnaca. Early in the morning we got a bus to the airport and then hired a car, which I'd pre-booked, and we went off first of all to the Stavrovouni Monastery, which is on the top of a hill, quite apt. The name is Hill of the Cross, and it is called so because Saint Helena, who found the true cross on the way back from the Holy Land, stopped in Cyprus, and I think the true cross disappeared or something and miraculously appeared on top of that hill, which was a sign that therefore a bit of it should be left there. And so they have a piece of the true cross. We did pay our respects to that. And it's an incredibly situated monastery in amongst a lot of military zones with beautiful views all around across north to Nicosia and beyond. So the monks have the dubious pleasure of looking at the Turkish flag every time they stare out, and of course south across the sea. I'll be honest, it was quite atmospheric. I don't think the buildings at the moment are particularly old, and the church was surprisingly small. But what is perhaps more surprising for the uninitiated is that they follow the same rules as Mount Athos, and no females are allowed in. And it's the only mosque I've been to where my shorts, which do cover my knees, this is the only mosque. It is the only monastery that I've been to where the shorts that do cover my knees have been deemed inappropriate, and they gave me long trousers to wear on top. But yes, we were the only visitors, no females allowed, just us on Mount Athos, so not even female cats and chickens and stuff like that. We went in. There was an aura of sanctity, I have to say, and in the church we got chatting to a monk who had a suitably otherworldly air, but he was also quite a funny chap and had a bit of a joke, and he talked about how orthodoxy had overcome the Muslims and communism because it is guided by God and not by man. He also explained some of the icons and some of the traditions. So we learned more about the 40 martyrs of Sebaste, and we looked. It really was quite interesting looking at the frescoes, which I knew, but having them explained to us. And he told us about some of the different saints. So that was that. And then after that, it was a bit downhill, literally because the monastery was on the top of a hill. But we then wanted to go to a Neolithic site, but it was shut for Easter Sunday, and so was kind of much else. So what we did is we drove as far east as we could on the island to a place. Let me see if I've got the name here. Camassus, I think. Camassus. Yeah, which is not in any guidebooks and not remarkable in any way whatsoever, aside from the fact that a former colleague of mine has a villa there. So we went to see Ian and his wife, and they gave us a drink and we had a chat. And that was really interesting because this is the first time I'd met any British people who live there, and of course the British have a long tradition of living on Cyprus. Ian only retired a year or so back, but they've had the villa for a while, and he's been in it for the last 3 months or so. And, there's many tests and lots of interesting questions. One being, how do you get around the Brexit rule of only being in the EU for 6 months at a time? And apparently his wife has Irish ancestry, so they're applying for Irish citizenship. Lucky buggers. And I also learnt about the process of how one might buy property on Cyprus, and how they looked at various sites, but this one was by a field of bulrushes and one of the best beaches on the island apparently, so that's what sold it for them. So that was that. They did invite us to stay longer and have a meal with them, but time does take ever onwards, and we had to get the car back by 7. So we drove back. We stopped at what is meant to be a beauty spot locally. Let's see if we get the name. Where are we? Potamos. We stopped at Potamos Leopetru, which is like a local beauty spot. It's a river mouth with like old fishing boats nestling by it. Also, we were told when we got there, it was a bit naff really. It was like a building site. The one cafe was shut. They were obviously going to develop all around it, and it was a bit disappointing. And aside from the monastery and seeing Ian, of course, today I guess it has been a bit disappointing, really. That's life, isn't it? And anyway, we dropped the car back off at the airport and went back into town. And I have been relaxing. I think Alex is off for yet another explore warrior that he is. And we're going to go for a nice meal tonight. And then tomorrow, it's on to the north. Actually, we're going to be going almost by Ian's place, because Ian's place was literally like a kilometre or less than that from the north. So we'll be going to the crossing very near here, I think Dernier or Derenia, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced, and then we'll be going to Famagusta. So quite looking forward to that. But until then, thanks for watching and keep travelling, and Christos Anesti.
Είδετε ότι εγώ είμαι Θεός, ο πριν γενέσω το παν, και πρωτοστήνε την γη και των ουρανών, κοινώς κοντά παν.